If you sell marketing, web or graphic design, capital investment, or just anything that you think is oversaturated, that means that you have to play with one thing, and that's market sophistication. In this video, I'm going to show you how we cut through the noise with my clients' offers to get them clients with cold outreach. If you don't know who I am Sergio. I'm the founder at Axo Leads, which is a B2B lead generation agency. We send emails that respond to where your prospect and your market is, which leads to some results like these here, which you can look through. You can pause if you want to look at some of the results, but let's get straight into it. Is it true? Is oversaturation a myth or not? Okay, well, it's not a myth. It's true. If you are offering the same thing that many others are offering, it's going to be really hard to get any responses for yourself, especially in 2025. So let's take SEO services as an example. Let's say you reach out to e-commerce stores or SaaS companies about how you can help them rank on Google when people are searching for their solutions, right? It's going to be really tough to get clients with this pitch because pretty much everybody who you reach out to has already heard this pitch before and it's already been in their inbox. But the good news is that there are 6 simple tricks that I'll be going over in this video that are going to massively increase the number of clients that you sign with your outreach. First, find offer market fit, change your market, change where you market, send an email with a diagnosis up front, something old, something new. Find leads outside of Apollo. I'll start with the number one most important one because it's the one that's going to work 100% of the time. So if you only watch a couple of minutes in this video, let it be for this next point. And that point is to find offer market fit. Let's go back to SEO services as our example here. SEO services, this is your product, right? Does it solve a problem? Yes. Does it make people money? Yes. Are people paying for this? Yes. Okay, so that means that the product itself is not the issue. It's your offer. And your offer is basically just how you present your solution versus the competition. And there are inbound and outbound tactics. Inbound tactics are brand and reputation. You create a reputation and people come to you. This is effective. Everybody wants to do this, but it does take a long time to build. Absolutely worth building though. That's what I'm doing here. All right. Outbound marketing can be immediately effective. We have seen this time and time again, but it does require visualizing the buyer's journey. It's important to make this differentiation between inbound and outbound tactics because typically the biggest brands in your space that you can visualize are going to be the ones that have developed the best branding and rely on inbound marketing. So you might see their offer structure and you mimic it, right? And this is an absolute mistake for cold outbound because if you don't look a layer deeper, then you won't notice that these same companies might be running outbound campaigns and they have a totally different funnel with a totally different offer and a totally different messaging. The reason for this is that cold prospects are not the same thing as warm prospects. You have to treat them differently. And the way that you do this is by offering something that is a response to their current market. If everyone else is offering them to rank on Google for important keywords, then what can you say? This is where you run a validation campaign to find that offer market fit. So you might offer a lead magnet, which a lead magnet is basically going to be one of 3 things: a personalized diagnosis, a step-by-step playbook, or a cheat sheet. I go over all the details of these in an older video. You can watch that afterwards. I'll link it in the description of this one. But the point of all of this is to lead with value. All right. If you're emailing a stranger, you should start the relationship on the right foot. This is just plain like being a good person. Give them something useful. Let them see that you know what you're talking about, and not by just showing off, but by helping them spot something that is going on in their own situation and laying out how to fix it, right? Basically, all I'm saying here is to send an email that you would respond to if you were there. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. If you're in a saturated space, run a campaign to see what you can offer to your target audience that gets them to respond. Let's say that you test 3 different lead magnet ideas. One of them gets you 80% of responses. Then congratulations, that's your new lead magnet. Okay, develop it, send it to everyone, and now you're getting warm leads with cold outreach. All right, second thing to do here, change who your market is. The first point was about changing your offer to meet the needs of your market, but have you actually tried changing your market? Because a lot of the time, people will choose their niche in accordance to where the biggest needs are, which makes perfect sense, but it's not necessarily where the best prospects are. So let me use an example here. Last month, we tested this. We ran a campaign for 2 different web development agencies. One had 20 plus years of experience and case studies reaching out to companies in their area. And then the other one was a brand new company with no case studies, and they wanted to reach out to companies in a completely different country. Well, as you can see here in the results, the first company, the one with all the case studies and the 20 plus years of experience, got 0 leads from their first campaign. The second company, the brand new company, got 25 leads in the first 2 weeks and immediately signed a new high ticket client from their very first campaign. Well, one of the biggest differences was that for the first one, they were targeting local businesses. Local businesses are going to be the companies that have the worst websites, but they honestly couldn't care less. Because a local business might as well just have a Facebook page instead of a website, and they'll make almost the same amount of money this way. The second one was targeting SaaS companies, companies that are either looking to raise capital or just build a brand in their sub-niche. And for them, their website is everything. So instead of finding where the biggest problems are, make sure you're targeting companies that have the biggest upside to your offer, not just the biggest problem. Third, on a similar note, your market isn't just your industry, but the location. And this one blew me away because it's kind of a little bit of a secret that we've been holding close to our chest. Most of the people who we work with want to target companies in the US, right? They're US companies, want to work with US companies. Well, one company came to us wanting to target the Singapore market. And I was hesitant at first because, it's a small country. I was worried about total addressable market, just how long we could run campaigns for them. But after just 2 campaigns, they signed 4 high-ticket recurring clients. People who were receiving our emails were amazed by the personalized outreach. Because one thing is they get fewer really, really good cold emails. So basically create a campaign targeting a totally different region and you might see totally different results. All right, send an email with a diagnosis up front. This one isn't as simple as just changing the location to your leads list, but man, is it effective. This approach accomplishes everything you should try to accomplish with cold email, such as showing them that you know what you're doing, leading with value, justifying why you're reaching out to them in the first place. And the way that an email like this can work, you can just see an example here. It looks like identifying what the thing is that you offer and how their current situation compares to how you can change it. So one company we work with helps e-commerce brands get more people to opt into their email lists. Having a good email list and having people opt into it, especially new visitors, is really important to e-commerce brands. So what we did for them was we sent an AI research agent to their prospects' websites. We checked out their current opt-in strategy, and then we compared it to the solution that this company was offering. And they started getting interest for this particular strategy on day 1. Here's an example of that. We launched that same day. This is the first response that we got from them. A couple of weeks ago, we also sent this email to instantly.ai and we got this response from them. Instantly.ai is the biggest or one of the biggest companies in the cold email space. So they know cold email like no one else. And the underlying thing that we're doing here that pertains to both of these results, it's from using AI to identify what the company's current situation is and then just applying it to your solution. Okay, let's move on to the 5th thing that you can do to get responses to your cold outreach, even if you're in an oversaturated space. And that's something new and something old. This is a concept I love in particular about all kinds of business things, but in particular for this cold outreach play, let's go back to SEO, because one of the perceived issues with SEO as an offer is that it's just not sexy. Everyone's always excited about other ways to boost their marketing. Right now, it could be TikTok, it could be AI. So where does that leave SEO? Well, you just plug it into the trends, right? With more searches going to ChatGPT, you can create a lead magnet or a small intro offer of how you can get companies to rank on ChatGPT when someone is looking for their solution on there. This is quite literally the identical strategy to a good SEO play anyway, and the search volume is probably even smaller than it is on Google. But people are so much more responsive to this right now. And really, all I'm saying here is that you need to meet people where they are. They don't know your industry like you do. They have an idea of what it is, right? If you have an oversaturated offer, they have an idea of what it is. They have an idea of what they want. But your job here with this offer that we're creating is to fill in the blanks to create the bridge. Sixth thing you can do, combine data providers for a better list, all right? So think about it this way. What's the easiest and cheapest way to build a prospect list? You can get Apollo, you can put in the filters for your target audience, and then you can just reach out to them, okay? Here's the problem with that strategy though. If you are in a saturated space, and you probably are if you're watching this video, then you're not going to be the first person that does this. You're going to be more like the 50th person that does this with the same offer in the exact same inbox. So these particular individuals that you are reaching out to are going to be numb to your offer. And you could get absolutely everything else that I have said in this video and everything that you can do right. But if you are only reaching out to these people, then you're not going to get a chance to see, what else is out there. And that also means that you are missing out on a ton of people that others aren't reaching out to that do meet your criteria of what a good lead looks like. Okay? Let me show you an example of a test that I ran very recently, just a few weeks ago. So a few weeks ago, I grabbed a list of 92 companies that met this very, very specific criteria. I went to find their founder on Apollo, which is, the database that everybody talks about having a really good database. Well, I only found 26 of those founders on there. And, most people would stop there. But then, for the sake of this test, I checked on 5 other data providers, and I ended up with a list of 71 valid email addresses for the founders on that list of companies. So this means I tripled the number of founders that I could reach out to, and these additional leads are people that far fewer people are reaching out to. And this was just a small test of 92 companies, but imagine a list of 9,200 companies. Without changing your market, without changing your messaging, your offer, or even your targeting, you can triple your results. It's just a no-brainer to me. I go over this exact strategy on this video here, so you can see that in the description below. I'm going to link it there. But basically, what I wanted to tell you is that you will never struggle to get meetings again with your cold outreach if you do apply these 6 things that I mentioned in this video and you are in an oversaturated space and that was your problem. Of course, there could be other issues pertaining to deliverability, to how much time you have to actually answer or reply to these leads and to nurture them properly. And that's something else that we can talk about later. If you have any other questions about what it's like to get responses in an oversaturated space, I would be more than happy to help you out. If you also have any other questions about, how you can send emails that people actually want to respond to, well, we made a resource of 20 emails that we sent to people that led to positive responses, that led to booked meetings, and many of those actually became clients for our clients. You can see those exact emails, the replies that those emails got, and the breakdown of why those worked in the description below. That will be linked there too, so that you can get some inspiration for your next cold email campaigns and see how these cold email copy can be reused for your offer as well. Anyway, let me know if there's any questions that you have pertaining to the subject matter of this video. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.